everyone. Me and my group here were given the task to find out how much dirt we had to get rid of to make the football field kind of flat.
As well as turf. Remove the crown out of the football field.
The objectives that we were specifically given where we needed to determine the amount of dirt we had to get rid of to make it flat, of course, and to determine how much that's going to cost us.
Some steps we need to take before we start anything. We need to visualize what we need to do, like measure how big the crown is, how long the football field is, then figure out the formula, and then create the area, or find the area that the crown takes up. After that, we need to find the volume so we can figure out how much dirt needs to be taken out from the crown. And after that, we need to find the general cost of how much it will be to remove all the dirt. And some questions, or help us visualize even more. What shape does a cross-section of the football field create when you cut it in half? And how tall is the crown? Also, what's the area under the parabola to help us figure out the equation? Also, after we find the parabola, what would be the volume? Also, what is the cost of removing the dirt?
To measure the depth of the crown, we tried to use Google Earth, but it wasn't accurate enough. When you make it 3D, it's better for the over top view. So me and Warren went out and we went out to the football field, and so this is the width of the football field. We took a 45-pound weight we found and put it right in the center of the crown, and then we hid a string under it so it would stay. And then I walked out to one sideline and held the string above the ground. Warren took a level to the middle of the string to make sure I was holding the string level, and then he walked over to the edge of the
Where you were at.
to where I was at, and took a tape measure and measured the depth. We found that it was about 1.5 feet.
After finding this 1.5 foot depth, what we had to do was create a parabola. With this length being 1.5, and we measured the distance using Google Earth, and then we also looked it up because Google Earth would give us an estimate, and we wanted an exact. We looked it up, and the total distance between across the football field was 160 feet. So we know that this side is 80, and this side is 80, creating points for us to use by saying this point over here is at negative 80, 0. This point here is 0, 1.5. And then this point over here is 80, 0. After finding these points, we plug it into the calculator, and then we use a quadratic regression to find the polynomial, which gave us this long equation, negative 0.00023437.5 x squared plus 1.5. What that is just a really, really wide parabola with a height of 1.5. After finding that, do I keep going there? Do I talk about the area?
Oh.
Further on. Okay. You're next.
All right. We used a second way to find the parabola just to make sure that it was accurate by creating a box, a rectangle, around the parabola. And the parabola would be the negative 80 point would be here, and the 80 point would be here. And then -80, 1.5 because that's the depth of the crown, and then -80, 1.5. The parabola would do something like this, touching the top of the rectangle in the very middle. The formula for that is 2/3 the base
area.
times height of the rectangle. And that's how we checked our work.
Okay. Back to finding the area under the curve. Using, once he wakes it back up, using the formula, the long equation of -0.0002 x squared, we had to take the integral of that, that's not a good symbol, from, what was it, 0 to 80? 0 to 160, because that's the total length. 0 to 160. Sorry. -80 to 80. Because we need it from here to here. -80 to 80 of that formula. We'll call it z. Take the integral of z, which gave us 160. How we check that using this is the area of this box, which the length is 160 times 1.5, which is 240. 2/3 of 240 is 160. Again, 160, which gave us, what was it, feet squared? Yes, feet squared. Now, in order to get the depth of the rectangle, what we had to do was take the integral of that. So we had to take the integral of an integral. I didn't quite understand this. What I knew from previous experience was that length, or the area of this cross section times the length will give us volume, right? That makes sense. Length times width times height. What I didn't understand until Coach Howard explained it to us in class was that in order to find that, you take the integral. The integral, we multiply by x again, and that gives us to the next one of our next slides coming up. Once you take the integral, you get from 0 to 360 feet, right? 360 feet. You plug in 0, plug in 360 minus 0 times 160 there, which gives you 57,600 feet cubed. And that's your total volume of the amount of dirt given. And then what we had to do next, coming up with Hayden and Nathan, was find the companies that took the dirt to another location. We determined the cost and how much that would be. So I'll turn it over to them.
Okay, so we have a total volume of 57,600 cubic feet. And 1 cubic foot of dirt is about 78 pounds. So you multiply 78 pounds by the total volume and gives us 4,377,600. And 1 ton is 2,000 pounds, so we divided the total pounds by 2,000, and that gives us 2,200 tons of dirt. And after making a few calls to some excavating companies, they couldn't give us an exact answer. So we went online and found a dirt removal cost calculator. And this is in our area, and the total cubic yards was 2,133. And this, after putting all this in here, it gives an average of about $187,720.
So in conclusion, we can determine that the crown is 1.5 high, the football field is 360 feet long and 160 feet wide, yeah. From that, we can find out that The volume of all of it is 57,600 cubic feet of dirt. And each cubic feet is, of course, about 78 pounds, and that gives us over 4 million pounds of dirt. That's a lot of dirt. So we can convert that to tons and get 2,200. And then we use that dirt removal calculator, and we found out that it is almost $190,000 to remove it.
All right.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Well, I have a question, no, because I'm not going to ask one for every single one. I'm very intrigued about how did you all come up with this idea of using the 45-pound weight and the string in order to figure out the depth of the crown?
To be honest, with ROTC, we're building a climbing wall, and we had to set a string to find the level point. So I'd already kind of thought about it before. And one day, Coach Howard came in here, and we asked him about it, and he said, well, yeah, you could run a string, and you could measure the depth of how far the string is above. We used a 45-pound weight because two of us can't be in the same place at once.
Yeah. That makes sense, but as you were explaining, I was like, that makes total sense of how to do it, and I was just intrigued of how that thought process went. Very cool.
Guys, anybody else have a question? Great job. Way to go. That was really hard.